We basically made every day count, not as if it were the last one, because that's also a very tough mentality, right? To try and overcome and to also live by, right? So I would say cherish the moments that you have.
Mark Kennedy, welcome to the show. Thank you for joining us today.
Thanks for having me, Tommy. I really appreciate it. I'm really excited to be here.
It's a pleasure to have you. Thank you for joining us. Can you start by telling us a little bit about who you are, where you're from, and a little bit about what you're doing?
Sure. So my name is Mark Kennedy, as you said, and I'm 35 years old. I currently work in digital media at Amazon. That's my full-time career. But a passion of mine and a hobby is Glio Leo. Right here, you can see the logo on my shirt. That is a nonprofit organization that strives to raise awareness for glioblastoma in honor of my late wife, Shelby Kennedy. And we simply want to help people that are diagnosed with GBMs, or glioblastoma multiforme, which is a type of brain cancer, and help funding as well. So donate to research institutions, and yeah, that's pretty much the two things on my plate currently.
Can you tell us a little bit about how Shelby's experience motivated you to found the organization?
Yeah. So she's actually from New York. Grew up an hour and a half away from New York City. Would come to New York City on a regular basis. Ended up graduating from FIT, or the Fashion Institute of Technology, here in the city, and started a role in product development at Macy's. And so her life, was always fashion and, technology and production. So she essentially, grew up wanting to do something with apparel and fashion, and that's sort of become, one of the ways that we're raising awareness, by manufacturing and developing clothing like the one that I'm wearing, and bags and all that good stuff. But essentially, throughout her ordeal, she always said that she just wanted to help people, because when she was diagnosed in 2017, we really knew nothing about brain cancer. And as soon as we started diving into the topic, we realized that it affects a ton of people. It affects children, it affects adults, and the typical standard, if you will, GBM patient are typically males over the ages of 55. And Shelby, when she was diagnosed, was in her late 20s and female. So, not really in that target for that type of terminal illness. So she was just very curious about why this was happening to her. And she simply wanted to spread awareness and share her story. And that's what we're doing with Glio Leo, which I established in October of last year, after Shelby had passed in June of last year.
Amazing, and really a wonderful way for you to honor her as you move forward and help others who are going through exactly what she went through. Can you tell us more about Glio Leo's actual mission statement?
Yeah. Like I said, our mission statement is threefold. Most importantly, to raise awareness, because again, Nobody in her extended family, nobody in my extended family, coworkers on both sides, friends, family, nobody had ever heard of GBM. And we wanted to make sure that everybody in our network knew what GBM was, why and how Shelby was diagnosed, which was a very odd story in a moment of confusion. She had been going to Macy's, her only job after graduating, and we'd been living in the same apartment for 2+ years. And one day on the subway going to work, she simply forgot where she was going. So again, part number 1 of our mission statement is raise awareness. Number 2 is help people that are currently diagnosed. So right now we're actually running a GoFundMe campaign for one of Shelby's best friends from FIT's cousin. She unfortunately was diagnosed 3.5 years ago with GBM, also female, also in her 30s. And then the third part of our mission statement is to donate money to research institutions, such as the National Brain Tumor Society or the Cancer Research Institute within their brain division, or the American Cancer Society also within their brain division. We want to make sure that funds that we're putting toward research are specifically going to the brain sections of these research institutions, given that GBM and brain cancer is significantly underfunded compared to traditional breast cancer, which everybody is aware. Everybody knows that Breast Cancer Awareness Month is October. Everybody understands what the pink ribbon is, right, when NFL players wear it or anybody else. So we're trying to create that identifier of when people see this logo of Glio Leo, this fighting lion spirit, that they know that is GBM awareness.
Wow, that's amazing, and what an ambitious goal that is too. Awareness plus helping individuals at the individual level, and funding research. That's a lot to tackle, and it's an amazing thing that you're doing to help people in the moment as well as future people by helping with research. I'm wondering, what do you find is the most rewarding part about founding and managing Glio Leo?
So I co-founded it along with my mother-in-law, Karen Skinner, Shelby's mom, and my brother-in-law, Tyler Skinner, Shelby's brother, older brother. And it allows me to keep a connection with them that we will always have this lifelong bond of I will always be their son-in-law regardless of whether or not in the eyes of the law our marriage has ended, right, given Shelby's passing. But it allows me to stay in touch with them. It allows us all to focus some of our energy into helping other people, which is really what Shelby wanted to do.
Do you have any message that you'd like to share with people who are currently supporting a loved one that's going through a cancer diagnosis, and even so much like everyone wants to be there for that person, I'm sure, in their community. As you mentioned, there were some things that you wanted from your family, but then also things you needed from a therapist. So some things to say and not say also might be helpful also for people who want to be there for somebody, but also they don't want to say the wrong thing.
Yeah. So this is obviously a very tough topic, right? But I think it's also important to set boundaries sometimes. And the one boundary that Shelby and I had was we never talked about the terminal aspect of her diagnosis. We never, not once, asked the doctors how much time she had to live, because it's something that we didn't want to know, right? We basically made every day count not as if it were the last one, because that's also a very tough mentality, right? To try and overcome and to also live by, right? So I would say cherish the moments that you have. Ask your loved ones that are experiencing this diagnosis if they want to talk about it, and also if they don't want to talk about it. There were many times where Shelby and I, would leave a doctor's appointment and then not talk about what happened because we just wanted to go home and snuggle with our dog and watch Netflix or something on TV to distract us. And that's perfectly okay.
Absolutely. Sometimes it's nice to be able to escape it for a time. We notice a lot of the children that we help through the foundation too. We see that they don't want to talk about it. They want to just be regular, kids, and kids are just little adults in the future. You want the same thing too. Sometimes you want to just have those distractions and get outside of yourself and focus on things that are positive and fulfilling, and or even sometimes just lazy and relaxing. So that's definitely great advice, and thank you for sharing that with everyone. During your pre-interview, you mentioned, and I just want to go back to this a little bit, the tote bag collaboration with FIT. Do you want to tell us in our audience a little bit more about that as well?
Yeah, and I'll actually tell you about all the projects that we've done in almost a year now. But the first one was a catwalk for a cure that one of Shelby's cousins, who was studying to be a nurse at Siena College in Albany, New York, she actually wanted to raise awareness within the nursing community because nurses don't see GBM patients on a regular basis, right? So therefore, and no one is to blame, right? They don't know that this exists. So the idea was to, because of Shelby's passion in fashion, do a fashion show with the proceeds going to Glio Leo. So that was the first event that we ran. And concurrently, throughout the spring semester of 2023, we partnered with FIT, or the Fashion Institute of Technology here in New York City, Shelby's alma mater, with their design department. And every year, there's actually twice a year in both the fall and the spring semester, there's design contests where companies, not nonprofits, just regular companies like banks and insurance guys, like anybody that wants to leverage the creativity that students attending FIT have, can sort of leverage, right, to say, hey, we're going to put on a contest and there will be X amount of dollars in this prize, and we're going to pay out first, second, and third place for somebody that designs something. So given Shelby loved her tote bag, that was the one thing that she would take to every single treatment, right? And it was something that, we sort of felt a connection with. So we put up a $10,000 prize pool at FIT and worked with a mentor to have students design a bag that is fashionable and functional for a patient going to the hospital on a regular basis, but also a bag that friends and family can identify with, right? So we had them design over the course of 2.5 months a tote bag, and we gave them some direction in terms of the form and function, also the sustainability factor that we wanted to incorporate into it. And then students submitted their designs, and alongside the board and myself, as well as 5 of Shelby's ex-classmates at FIT, her best friends, as well as this girl that was recently diagnosed 3.5 years ago. So we had all of these people become guest judges to rank and score the tote bags that the students designed. And we presented a first place payout of $5,000 to the design that we thought was the most functional, the most aesthetically pleasing, the one that incorporated our brand logos and elements. So we're super excited about that project, given that Shelby's spirit will literally live on in this tote bag, right? That students from FIT, her alma mater, designed based on all of the history that we provided on Shelby, and hopefully we'll raise a ton of money, right? So the idea is we're not only raising awareness with the sale of this tote bag, but we're also raising money that we can then funnel to our patients, right, and our research centers.
Awesome. That's a great way to raise money. And then, of course, I agree. Having a good tote bag, I think, is exceptionally useful for people who are going frequently to the hospital, but really anywhere. So tote bags are awesome, and it's a great way to keep representing her day in and day out as time goes on and Glio Leo continues to grow and scale and get into the lives of as many people as possible. That's very cool. Well, I can't thank you enough for coming on the show, Mark, and it's been a pleasure chatting with you about this. I think it's very inspiring what you're doing, and a lot of people are going to benefit greatly from Glio Leo's success and growing and helping people with raising awareness, raising money for individuals going through it that are in the thick of treatment right now, and then of course research so that you can make it at least a not so terminal diagnosis. In the worst case scenario, and in the best case scenario, find a cure, a way to get past it permanently. So I want to commend you on your work, and thank you so much for coming on to speak with us today.
Of course. Thanks again, Tommy. I really appreciate you guys having me on, allowing me to share Shelby's story and what we're doing with her story at Glio Leo. But again, thank you so much for your time. And we're looking forward to partnering with you again in the future.
Absolutely, likewise.